We're going to work very hard on Russia and Ukraine. It's got to stop. Russia and Ukraine's got to stop.
President-elect Donald Trump speaking this week about the war he has repeatedly promised to bring to a rapid conclusion. However, talk, as they say, is cheap. Mr. Trump will soon have the opportunity to practice his self-proclaimed powers of persuasion. Panel, aside from the border and combating the cartels, the president-elect also has a shooting war in the Middle East to manage and the ever-present threat posed by our principal rival, China. I want to go to you first, Bob. I mean, easier said than done with Ukraine and Russia, you think?
Well, it is. I think one of the things, Ukraine has been handcuffed as to what they can do to proactively take the war to Russia. They've been in a pretty much defensive-only strategy throughout this war, and you can't win a war if you're just being defensive. So I think if you unleash that and you allow Ukraine to actually take some of the attack to the Russian border area, hit some of these military supply bases, hit other military targets inside Russia, then Russian people will feel the pain of that. And that gives the president-elect, when he becomes president, a lot of leverage to then go in and put pressure on Putin to resolve this matter some way.
So much death in that war, and it looks like a stalemate, Paul. Is Trump the guy who can bust it?
I think this goes back to the Ukrainian people. So the Ukrainian people have agency in this, and what they've decided to do of their own accord is to stay in the fight. And as a democracy, we should be looking to them and say, we're going to stand with you against an autocratic-ruled Russia and help you maintain your independence. I think Biden made a terrible mistake, as Bob said, that handcuffed them in defending themselves by disallowing them from being more active in their defense. And instead, they've just had to take punch after punch after punch. Europe has a big say in this, and I think what's going to happen is, especially if Gabbard gets, approved, Europe is going to pull away from us, and we're going to just not have as much of a voice in the international arena as we used to.
All right. April Agid, you wore the uniform. Your thoughts here?
It's really devastating that there's so much bloodshed in the 21st century. It's very sad to me. However, I do feel that Putin doesn't want to have issues with Trump. So his arm might be forced to try to come up with some resolution. And Zelensky knows that the financial gravy train is about to stop for him. So he's also going to have to make some negotiations with Trump. Before President-elect Trump was voted against to be president, he had Zelensky at Trump Tower in New York, and there's already been communication and talks of how they're going to come to a resolution. I truly believe that Russia wants to keep in good ties with the United States, so hopefully they do come to a resolution, and if anybody's going to get this done, it's going to be Trump.
So our good friend Bill King talks about how our active role on the global stage has been the biggest factor in not having another world war. And then there are concerns that we'll become more isolationist. I know this isn't your favorite part of the game, but do you think that Donald Trump can do what Joe Biden was unable to do, which is bring this war to a conclusion?
Well, I think one thing we should all be together on now, and the fact is that he can get this war resolved, which has been horrific for the Ukrainian people. And to what Paul said is, the world is far more complicated now, because, you have China, you have Korea, you have our European allies who are going to be watching very closely as to, what we do. And so it's going to be a delicate dance, but I think we should all be united behind the president-elect that he can resolve this.